This is Sean with Gate City Foundation Drainage. We are on a job today in Pleasant Garden. So let's take a look at what we got going on here with this property. So this basement has been flooding. This is a rental property, and they already got the gutter up. How about that? Anyway, the landlord is, so when it comes to landlords, sometimes landlords just want to fix it as cheaply as possible and don't care. Other types of landlords, like myself, want to fix it extremely well so they never have to revisit it again. And so this was a landlord who really wants to get this corrected, and I really like working with landlords like that. And so if you look here, what's going on is, when I was over here the other day, there was just like water seeping out of the ground over here. And what it was doing is the water just like seeps out of here. You can see somebody cut a swale right there. And so the water is just running across here, and it's just bumping up into this foundation and going right down in there. And so take a look. Look at how moist this ground is right here. So what we're gonna do, look at all this moss right here. See this moss? So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a new swale and take the dirt that comes out and put it up against the house, up against the foundation. Now you can see that we only have so much we can come up here, but that will be just enough to get it there. And so that's what we're working on today. We're also going to catch this gutter up here. And they didn't have a gutter on here. It's just a little bit of roof, but it was landing right here in this natural area, and it was just holding right here. And so I had talked to the homeowner and said, we need a gutter right here, and then we can just pipe it over to here somewhere into the swale that we're going to cut. And so she was able to get that done, and we're gonna put a pipe in there and get our pipe. Now she doesn't want to spend a ton of money on this, so we're just going to end our pipe wherever our swale is. Here we are in the basement of the house, and you can see we have a sump pump in there, but there's a bunch of water coming through the foundation here. And so this is what we're going to be correcting today. This water seeping through. In this clip you can see the Harley rake sitting there, but as soon as I cut the swale, the whole bank was just seeping water, and so the whole thing turned into a muddy mess. So we weren't able to use the Harley rake, but we got everything done with the tooth bucket there. I'm just taking a look here and trying to decide where I want to put my channel, my swale. And so a couple things to consider really is the natural slope of the area. If you can work with that a little bit, and it looks like there's a line that runs maybe like right through there, and there's a little high spot, a little hump right there. So we're just trying to figure out exactly where we want to cut this thing. So I think I'm going to go right along here somewhere. And it's not going to take much, but we want to keep it away from the house as much as possible as well. So that's what we're working on. Got the mini Bobcat here today. I thought about bringing the big one, but ended up with the mini one. So we got our tooth bucket here, and we've got our Harley rake as well if we need it. You guys ready?
We're ready. Let's do it.
So this house was built by the landlord's grandfather. So you've got the well over there, and it comes across and it goes in the back. And then we saw this 3/4 inch PEX line coming out and going into the ground, and that feeds this house over here. And so we were going kind of easy, thinking there might be a water line in here, and look at what I just found. So I got to bring a little bit more dirt in over here and try to get this covered back up. So it wasn't very deep. It was probably about 8 inches deep or so. And we run into this a lot when we have private lines like that were done by the homeowner or whoever after the fact. So we got to be real careful with that. We don't want to break that water line. I mean, it's an easy fix. If we do, it's PEX, but if we can help it, we won't break it. The grading's going pretty well, and I wanted to show you what's going on here. So this, for whatever reason, this whole bank just like seeps water, and look at what's happening here. As I'm moving along, it's just turning into mud, and so conditions are worsening right now in here, and I think it's because this swale is starting to do what it's supposed to, which is let the water out of here and give it a path away from the foundation instead of into it. And so we're heading on down the way. I got to clean this up a little bit, but I think this is going to work very well for keeping her basement dry. Well, I think I'm about finished with the grading with the Bobcat. So take a look at what we've done here. So now we have a quite aggressive swale right through there, and you saw where the water was already seeping through the bank. So we definitely needed something in there with all this water coming through here. And so now this is so high over here up against the foundation that the water is going to tend to shed this way and then just shoot right down out of here. We had to add a couple of vent wells, and we're a little bit worried about that spigot, but the landlord said don't worry about it. So we're just going to get this raked up with a rake finally, and we got this gutter caught, and it's just going to discharge right there. We're just going to bury a couple of pavers right there, but you know, I talked to the landlord about trenching it all the way to the brush there, but she wants to start with this and see how we do. So we can always do that later if we need to. So it's looking pretty good. We are finished with this job, so let's take a look.
Anything coming down in there was soaking the hell out of it.
We got this gutter caught out of here, right there. So now that water will go right down our little channel. So we should be in really good shape. The homeowner texted me a few days after we did the project with this picture here, and a nice message that said that the basement had already dried up tremendously. And here you can see a little bit closer image of that. And this was before it had rained, and she said, I'll be back in touch with you after it rains. And it rained yesterday, and it rained all last night. And I talked to her today, and she said everything is still super dry, completely dry under there. So she's very, very happy. And so that's really good news for us too. So that problem is solved with that little bit of grading and that swale. I am back out here on this job. It's been probably about a week and a half or so, and just wanted to check on things, see how things are settling in. So this is where we created that new swale over here. And you can see just how much water there is right here. So the idea is we're keeping the water in the swale here and keeping it away from the foundation. And I talked to this homeowner probably a couple days ago. She said that the basement was dry already since we did the work, and I was very excited to hear how it would look after today's rain. But take a look over here. See the water? The water is just ending up down here in the brush. And that's exactly what we wanted to happen. So I feel really good that we're going to dry out her basement even during the rain like it is now. This outfall I wasn't terribly worried about because it's barely catching any roof right there. But it was one of those deals where since we were here, we might as well get that water a little bit further away. So we went ahead and did that as well. And the homeowner had that piece of gutter put on there. So that was good.